What's up, Lego builders? Last month I showcased the sci-fi mech and human armies I'm building, but I haven't given an update on what the Lego city they're fighting in looks like. And spoiler alert, it's not looking too good. Today I'm determined to get everything set up on the main tables again and hopefully get the Skyscraper's interior frame installed. It's already built, so how hard can that really be?
1 hour later.
If you're ready, don't forget to open fire on that like button, and let's get building. So much has happened since the last city building update. The humans struck a huge blow to the Protectorate forces, aliens were revealed to be the ones pulling the strings behind the mysterious mech army. Oh, and I built an entire large-scale Lego Star Wars mock in secret, packed full of Gungans, of course. That secret project was so much fun, but had to occupy the same space as my Lego city, which had to be unceremoniously dumped in this corner, becoming friends with a nearly forgotten Battle of the Bulge mock I was supposed to finish last summer. Whoops. Naboo had its time in the spotlight, and now I need that space back from Owenia Prime. Luckily, this is a pretty flat, simple mock with most of the height and spectacle coming from the massive war beasts, armies, and giant shield wall. So the takedown process should be pretty easy. I was going to take this to a convention this year, but it was just too big to fly with. I probably could have bought the UCS Death Star, then thrown it in the trash with how much I would have spent on checked bags to hold everything. And I could drive, but it would take almost a full day to get to the con, and that would really cut into the Jar Jar fanfic I'm not writing. I thought I had a lot of Gungans before making this mock, but now I've got so many I had to move them from bins to a cardboard box. Lucky for me, I designed this to be very modular, so the ground comes apart in small chunks that'll be stored in my increasingly cramped Lego room. I'm not taking them apart just yet because they're going to be the base for my next large-scale mock after Owenia Prime is done. And speaking of that, it's time to get the city out of the shadows and see how much damage has been done. It's so good to see this city taking shape, and now I can move forward again. Starting with some bridges. Because the plateaus were being moved around so much, I didn't bother building all the bridges or permanently attaching them yet, but now that the plateaus are in place, I want to start connecting them. For anyone new to the series, my city is built on a series of plateaus with the roads and cars sitting underneath, effectively turning each plateau into an island. This prevented the foot and road traffic from becoming intertwined, and these bridges allow citizens and soldiers to still get around this mostly walkable city. Extremely strong panels guard the sides in this lovely trans purple color and have been commercialized by every business, sports team, and pizzeria possible, shoving their wares in the face of every passerby in the form of advertisements and kiosks, just like every good little consumerist society should. Some bridges are bigger than others depending on how much traffic needs to get through or what kinds of vehicles will be crossing. Owenia Prime is finally starting to look like its old self again, and now I can break into a fresh Lego haul. That was the box, I swear. My parts budget was real tied up with Naboo last year, so now that that's over with, I splurged on some really fun, interesting parts and figs for my new world. There's a lot of dark tan and lime green, and I really wish I could talk about what it's for, but it's still not time. Some of you eagle-eyed viewers have probably noticed that my hauls have been more minifig and minifig accessory heavy than in years past. Take for example this dope firefighter I'm turning into a scientist wearing a hazmat suit. I got two, and these will come in handy very soon. I also bought a bunch of Joker hair that'll be used as plants, and this sweet helmet which I'll be pairing with some armor and legs that are also in this haul. But man, if getting said legs didn't piss me off. This entire package cost over $60, and it was all because of these. They're the legs for the Lego CMF Bear Knight, and apparently very rare, especially in bulk. It's hard to find dark green dual molded legs, but these just paired so nicely with the helmet from earlier and this armor piece. I've been wanting to create a next-gen super soldier type of fig and spent hours combing Bricklink for just the right piece, and I'm pretty pleased with what I've cooked up. Very soon you'll get to meet a new branch of the HADF, and spoilers, they handle the really tough environments. I'm a huge Stingray and Manta fan. I've been wanting some for my collection for so long. I finally bought my first one, and it's just as beautiful as I'd hoped. There were multiple species of flying ray that used to populate the fields and jungles, but they went into hiding when the Biowars started, so who knows where they are now or what happened to them. But that's enough foreshadowing for now, let's talk skyscrapers. From the outside, Lantern Industries HQ isn't looking too bad, especially when lit up. But it's still just an empty shell, and I've built enough buildings to know one bump of the table will bring this sandcastle to the ground, so I need to build a good frame. And what better pieces to use than Technic beams? I want to build a Technic tower that will sit in the middle of the skyscraper and have all the exterior panels connect to it. It's got to be pretty tall to run most of the height of the structure, and I added plates to the side so there will be plenty of connection points. I attached some Technic panels to the base and top to get the height I need, but this thing wobbles like a Tuscan Raider who had a little too much blue milk to drink, so I added more beams along the sides to further connect the two sides and better stabilize them. I can't forget the lighting components, so I built 4 balconies that will connect to the frame and create a shelf for holding lights. I'm using the same puck lights that I did to light up the buildings on my Magito mock. They're extremely bright and can be remotely operated, but drain their batteries super fast, so I need the Skyscraper interior to be somewhat accessible in the event I need to replace batteries. You know, up to this point things were going pretty smoothly. I wasn't super happy with how the overall Skyscraper was looking, but at least the interior was coming together. Then came the fateful day when I had to assemble everything. The first 3 panels went on pretty smoothly, granted the sides were just set in place and didn't even connect to anything. But when it came to placing that final panel, something wasn't clicking into place. As I was delicately trying to hold it while also apply enough pressure to connect it to the frame, disaster struck. It was as if my desire and resolve to finish this skyscraper was the thing laying before me shattered on the table and floor. I've broken and rebuilt many things over the years, but this time I was done. So I decided to take things in a different direction. I shrunk down the front and back panels and built a series of peaks and valleys using wedge plates and tile. I know if there's one thing I'm good at, it's building things that look broken. So I'm turning this into the wrecked foundation of Lantern Industries HQ. I want it to look like the building was destroyed as the top portion toppled over, leaving behind the jagged remains of what was once the tallest building in my Lego city. I'll then spread chunks of debris from the upper half around the base of the building and the roads below, further selling the point that it was destroyed. I feel much better now without the nagging weight of needing to finish this weighing on my mind, and I think I can still make this building look pretty cool. There's one more thing I want to add before I move on. This was once the most impressive and advanced campus in Millennia Prime, so I want to spruce up the entrance area a little and make it more grand. I had the idea to build a series of light bars and place them on the steps to illuminate people coming and going. I also want to add more benches and trees off to the sides. Small details I know, but I think it'll help this plateau feel more real and familiar. There's also some mech work to be done today. I've been thinking about my heavy class Kraken a lot recently, mostly because I feel like it might need more legs. The body and head look very large compared to them, and there's quite a big gap on the sides between each one, putting a lot of weight on the corners. I decided it couldn't hurt to build an extra set of legs just to see what a 6-legged configuration would look like, which would also support the body much better. I'm not doing anything new here, just copying the existing design, but working on this has me thinking, what other configurations of Kraken mech could I make? Keeping the body the same, but changing up the head to hold a massive missile platform, sonic weapons, or some other cool function. Let me know in the comments what Kraken variants you'd like to see. Luckily, adding another 2x2 ball joint to the Kraken's body wasn't too difficult, and there was just enough space to add another set of legs. I don't know what to think, guys. On the one hand, it's weird seeing the Kraken with 6 legs. It looks so much bigger and slower, more insectile. But on the other hand, it looks kinda dope. The extra legs make it feel much more powerful and definitely more intimidating on the battlefield. Plus, they give it some much needed support. I'm really interested to see what you guys think, so let me know in the comments if you prefer 4 legs or 6. I had an ambitious end to last year, and it was good that I built this in such a modular way that it can be moved around, but it will not be moved from this table again until after the whole thing's finished. It's really nice to finally see the physical layout again, because I've been trying to plan the final plateaus in my head, but haven't had much success because I was unsure of how much space I actually had to work with. Take for example this middle row. Originally I was planning on 3 plateaus, but as you can see there's only room for 1 more, which will hold this apartment building and maybe some small shops. Over in the corner by Lantern Industries I have space for 1 more as well, so I'm officially just 2 plateaus away from filling up all the space, which is exciting. Lantern Industries HQ is looking real rough around the edges now, but I think it was the right choice. There's been a lot of intense fighting in this area, so it's not a huge leap to assume this massive skyscraper got knocked over at some point. We could even just say it happened during the last major fight when the HADF rescued that scientist. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it at the top of the video. I like the damaged edges created with the wedge plates, and I'm going to add vertical Technic beams to represent the skyscraper's frame poking out in certain places. I tried to make the front wall taller than the back, so it looked like the building collapsed backwards into the campus, causing further destruction. The light strips on the front steps look pretty cool, helping to sell that sci-fi vibe and populate the somewhat barren plateau. Though, if I remember correctly, an armadillo drove through a barricade and slammed into a mech right here not too long ago, so I think it should look more like this. That was not the week I was planning to have at all. I'm still sad the giant skyscraper I spent so much time on will never be fully realized, but it was becoming such a pain to work on. And I felt like I was never completely satisfied with how it came together or how it looked, so I think that factored into my decision to demolish it as well. I've come to a slow but steady realization throughout the course of this series. I don't really like building cities. Even a small one requires so much space for thousands of pieces, and no matter how big I build, the buildings still look too small, especially if I'm trying to do some kind of sci-fi setup. There's just no good way to construct massive skyscrapers without them taking up the majority of the space and eating up most of my time. I would much rather build cool vehicles and mechs paired with smaller buildings like these that don't take up a ton of space but still look realistic. Don't worry, I'm definitely gonna finish Millennia Prime, but its skyline is not gonna be as tall as I initially planned. And I think the next project is gonna revolve around one giant structure. But that's a wrap for this update. Don't forget to let me know what you think of the mock down below in the comments, and until next time, happy building.